So in this video, I wanted to look at what a good email is. So on this channel, I talk a lot about copywriting, and people are often asking, like beginners looking to get into copywriting, what is a good email? What does a good email look like? And there is no black and white answer. There is many different good emails or good types of emails and different types of sequences and campaigns. Today though, I want to break down and look at a really good email and also break down the different components that go into making an effective email and give you some writing tips to make your emails even better. Okay, before we look at an example, let's just go through the structure of an effective email and just break down the different components that make up a good one. First off, we've got the subject line. This is really important because if people don't click on your email subject line in their inbox, they're not going to read your email. So we have to create an email subject line that is both captivating, clear, and concise, that provokes a sense of curiosity and intrigue to make sure people open these emails. This is going to be different depending on what you're writing about. You could be very clear and to the point, or you could go down the route of being really curiosity driven to make people so intrigued they have to click on this email subject line to open and read your email. Then we've got the opening line of the email. So this is essentially the first line of the body of the email. And this is designed to grab attention, and it makes the reader want to continue reading your email. And when we're writing emails, we want to always be thinking, how do we get the reader to want to read the next line of our email? We're not trying to get them to read the whole thing. All we're focusing on when we're writing is, how do I write this next line in a way that will create like a greasy slope or a greasy slide as the reader is going through this email? Because we just want to read one line after the next, after the next. So the opening line needs to be some sort of statement that engages the reader immediately. I'll explain this in the example in a second. And then we've got the body copy of the email. This delivers the message that you are trying to convey to the reader with clarity and persuasiveness. Now, this could be done in many different ways, through storytelling, factual stuff. It could be many different ways to do it, but I'm going to give you an example in a second. And then at the end of the email, we've got call to action. So generally, we are going to be asking the reader to do something. Whether it's respond to the email, to click a link, to buy a product, invest in a service, whatever it is, it needs to be clear, it needs to be compelling. You basically want to think about what you want the reader to do next. What's the next logical step that the reader should take? Not all emails will have calls to action, but most of the time you'll be writing emails that have calls to action. And then the PS section, this reinforces the message or offers additional incentives. Not everybody will have a PS in their email, but I think they're useful to have because a lot of people will skim read emails and just go straight to the bottom of the email. And you can almost put like the too long to read in the email, or you can, I get like this thing says here, you can reinforce the message that you are conveying in the email in the PS, or you can offer additional incentives or calls to action in there. So I've got some writing tips here as well before we jump into this example. Focus on benefits, not features, a big one, which you will learn as a copywriter, super important. So features are, for example, I have this battery charging case here. The fact it's small and compact, the fact it's made of metal, these are all features. The benefits of this being small and compact is the fact I can travel with it, it's lightweight, it can fit into my pocket. They're benefits over features. I would personally say write in a conversational tone, but this is going to highly depend on who you're writing for and the audience who is going to be reading your email. I like to add personality to my writing. The client or your audience that you're writing to may be a bit different. I also use bullet points and would recommend using bullet points for readability. So if you've just got massive chunks of text in an email, it can be quite hard to read, especially because most people are going to be reading this on their mobile. You want to make it almost reader friendly and fun to read. So you've got like no paragraphs that are longer than like 4 lines long. You can then break that up with bolded sections, italics, bullet points, anything to make things more interesting and easier to read. And then I've also added that you can incorporate storytelling for engagement. So storytelling is a big one in email. It's quite a hard skill to master, but a very powerful skill once you do, especially with the written word. So let's jump over now and look at an example I have. I've got an email here from a chap called Daniel Fazio, and the main program he is selling here is called Client Ascension, and it's a coaching program to help you get more leads into your business. I don't necessarily need this service off this guy, but I like reading his emails. They help me come up with ideas, help me structure things. I like his writing style. And notice straight away that his email subject line is every millionaire I know has this. Straight away, there's a few things that I can pull from this. One, it's very short. One, it's super intriguing because One, Daniel obviously knows a lot of wealthy people. He's also stating that millionaires have something that you don't. And a lot of people on Daniel's email list will be wanting to grow their business or make more money. So this is a very intriguing email subject line for people who meet that criteria. You can't help but not want to open this and read it. So you open it, and the first line, there's a common trait that every successful person I know has. That is enough to get the person to be like, what is this common trait every successful person has? Read the next line. Ironically, it's called agency. And then you're like, what the hell's agency? And then he goes into defining what agency is. Agency is defined as the sense of control that you feel in your life, your capacity to influence your own thoughts and behavior, and have faith in your ability to handle a wide range of tasks and situations. So what you'll notice Daniel has done here, he's very good as a writer at being one step ahead of the reader and preempting what they're going to be thinking. Because then if he can do that, he can essentially mind read. And when you can mind read with copy and preempt what people are thinking and then write it, that's a very powerful skill to have in storytelling and general engagement and conversation. A person with agency has what I like to describe as figure it out ability. There's no situation or problem by which they don't have the confidence they will figure out how to solve it. It's not that they immediately know how to solve it, it's that they know how to figure out how to solve it. When you're below 30 to 50k a month and haven't been in business for more than 2 years, most of the time you're operating in the dark. You don't know how to do anything. There's new problems every day, and there's new problems every day you've never had before, meaning you're always in an uncertain environment. And humans have a tendency to prefer the certainty of failure rather than the uncertainty of success. This is when most people tap out and quit. They can't handle the uncertainty. They have to be a special kind of psycho to subject yourself to perpetual problems quite literally every single day of your life, which brings me to another trick. So this is kind of the body copy of the email. This is where Daniel is teaching you something. He's explained a point. He's brought into, the idea of agency. He's explained what agency is, but then he's also explained how that looks in someone's life. So what does agency look like when it's played out in somebody's life? What does it look like for people? What's a real life example here that we can relate to? Which brings me to another trick. So again, this is another little sentence that makes you continue to want to read. Every successful person I know surrounds himself with other successful people. Very relatable, understandable. Why? Because other successful people have already dealt with problems you're facing, meaning you are never in an uncertain environment. So if you're not surrounding yourself with high volume operators, it's not really a mystery why you haven't succeeded yet. This relates back to the concept of why people don't post content online. You don't post content because you're scared of mean comments. And me just saying just ignore them doesn't do anything. Everybody's affected by mean comments. So what he's doing here is he's planting the seed that to be successful, you have to surround yourself with the right people. And like I said at the beginning, Daniel sells a program or a service called Client Ascension, which essentially is, a component of that is being around successful people in a community. So this again subliminally plants the seed and connects the dots to potential customer and Daniel's service. You see how powerful this is becoming. By when you screenshot a mean comment and throw it into a group chat of 400 other successful business owners, and they all start making fun of the guy who left the dumb comment, you immediately don't care about it anymore. So this is another very real life situation and experience that a lot of people reading this may have experienced. You can't change the automatic defaults in your mind without changing the environment by which the automatic defaults are created in the first place. What you think stems from what you're around. It's actually impossible to be successful alone. You are not going to make $10 million by sitting inside your basement and not interacting with those who are ahead of you. It's simply not going to happen. So he's basically saying here that the only option is, if you want to succeed and make the money you want to make, you have to surround yourself with the right people. This is why I'm always in masterminds. I'm in a $68,000 a year mastermind and a $45,000 a year mastermind. This is so I can surround myself with people making $3 million per month. Now let's say you're making 5, 10 to 100k a month. Does it not make sense for you to hang out with the people making 2 to 600k a month? Because that's exactly what client ascension is. And can you see there, that's kind of like the twist of how he then pivots towards client ascension and coming into the call to action. So can you see how subtle this is? It's not like clear cut, it flows very nicely. Daniel's writing style is very direct as well. In fact, you get to talk to them directly 16 times a week because there are 16 coaching calls a week. Again, that's just outlining a benefit of client ascension, like we said before, rather than just talking about features. The fact that you can directly talk with these people 16 times a week who are making all this money more than you. You also get to privately message them in Slack in addition to the other 350 people at your level. If you want to change your environment, you should join Client Ascension. That's his email. And I feel that is a really powerful email. It's a very subtle call to action. It's very direct as well, which kind of coincides with Daniel's personality and writing style. Your writing style might be a little bit different, but you can kind of see where I'm going with this, and you can kind of see where the components of an effective email fit into this email example. So yeah, that is me breaking down Daniel's email. I think I might do some more of these email breakdowns if they're useful to you. But if you want to learn any more copywriting tips, make sure you go into the description below. I'll leave a link where you can join my free copywriting club where I send out almost daily emails on getting started with your freelance copywriting business and all that good stuff. And comment below if this video is useful and if you have any other questions, and I'll get back to you with a video, and we'll see you in the next one.